Hello students. So today we are going to learn the fourth part in kingdom Animalia. In the first part we learned the criteria for animal classification. Second part we learned the first five phylum in kingdom Animalia of non-chordata, and then third part we learned the remaining five part in non-chordata. Today we learn about the chordates and the later part with the vertebrates. Okay, so also like all previous videos we have seen the first slide, the animation one. Here also we can see the first slide, there are two half of animation. First part where you can see different birds, bat and even fish which is eaten by the birds. Also the right side of the image you can see the cheetah cubs. Okay, so in this particular part, as you're going to learn about chordates, so you can see all the images related with the chordata or vertebrata. Also, as in the previous part, we saw amazing and unique creatures with relation to the non-chordates. Here again, we will be having different species with relation to chordata, vertebrates, and also some unique and amazing species as well. Okay, so we move to the next slide where I just put a few images of phylum chordata where you can see starting duck-bill platypus, the duck-like beak, but it's a mammal. Then frog, rabbit, or one more you can see earthworm. Some of you might be surprised, there's an earthworm over here. No, as we saw in the previous video, it is a Ichthyoptis or Sicilian species which comes under amphibia. Then shark, and you can see a dinosaur species, just it's an image over here. Fish, tortoise, then the again different sea creature of can say fish, then you can see kangaroo, then lamprey which comes under the early chordates, birds and few other species, squirrel, gorilla, etc. And even you can see few non-chordate species, but then it is again related where fishes are present around it. Okay, so we move to the third slide where I all the phylum in animal kingdom so as to get an idea about the entire species in the animal kingdom, which again you learned in the previous slide as well. So here in phyla we can see Annelida, Arthropoda, Platyhelminthes, Porifera, Echinodermata, Chordata, which again you can see different phylum, class, etc. And again in this phyla, the subphyla present Crustacea, then in case of chordata, the vertebrates. So all the different species you can see over here in one part, again to get an idea about the different phyla in the animal kingdom, different subphyla, the class, etc. So just to get an idea. Okay. Now coming to the next slide and the most important slide, as I told you earlier two videos as well, where this particular slide I'm repeating it so as for you to learn and revise as well. So in animal classification, as you already learned, so again we'll have a short recap as we did in the previous two videos as well. Non-chordata, chordata, non-chordata, phylum Porifera means Poribirus. Now we'll be more familiar now because this we are doing for the third time. That is the revision part of it. Example, Cycon or sponges, phylum Nidaria or Coelenterata. Example, Hydra, jellyfish, phylum Ctenophora or Pleurodontia. The smallest known phyla of very few species found in it, as example comb jelly, phylum Platyhelminthes, flatworms, example tapeworm, liver fluke, phylum Aschelminthes, that is roundworm, example Ascaris. So these five phylum we learned in second part of the video. Then third part, that was phylum Annelida, the presence of annuli or rings. Earthworm, phylum Arthropoda. Arthro means joint, poda means foot, so joint foot. Example, cockroach, flies, fleas, crabs, prawns, lobsters, right? Phylum Mollusca. Example, octopus, mollusca, soft-bodied animals. Also, we relate with the presence of shells, but shells may be external, internal, or absent. Phylum Echinodermata, Echino, rough, derma, skin. So rough skinned species or with the spines on the body surface. So example, starfish or sea urchin. Then phylum Hemichordata, which is a connecting link between non-chordate and chordate. The term hemi means half or partial. So it is partially chordate and partially non-chordate. Example, Balanoglossus or Saccoglossus. Now, we come to the chordate part, which we will learn today in detail. So in short, as we see the subphylum and the class, etc., starting with Urochordata, example Herdmania, Cephalochordata, example Amphioxus, further vertebrata divided into Agnathostroma and Gnathostomata. Agnathostroma, absence of jaw. A class Cyclostomata, the mouth is circular. Example, lamprey. Gnathostomata, further they are divided into 5 class: Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammals. Pisces again divided into 2 class: Chondrichthyes, Ostrictus, example Scoliodon or commonly called as shark. Ostrictus, example Rohu or Labio-rohita. Amphibia, all of you know, frog or toad or salamander. Or as I told, we may see few more interesting species in amphibia like Ichthyoptis or Sicilian, or one more which is axolotl larvae, which we see towards the end of the topic. Reptiles, snakes, crocodiles, lizards, alligators, and tortoise, turtle, etc. Aves, example, all the birds, ostrich, parrot, peacock, eagle, which comes under aves. Mammalia, example, bat, which is a flying mammal, but other than that, monkey, squirrel, deer, lion, elephant, all this comes under mammalia. Okay. Now we come to the next part, that is comparison of chordates and non-chordates. So before going into detail of chordates, first we should know the difference between both. You can see on the right side the image where you can see first non-chordate, exoskeleton, pulsating dorsal blood vessel, nerve cord, digestive tube, anus. But similarly in case of chordates, the gill slits, heart, liver, anus, postcranial tail, notochord. Right, these are the comparative differences between the both. And below there's another image which I have put where you can see chordate body plan, where you can see very clearly the mouth, brain, dorsal tubular nerve cord, notochord, post-anal tail, muscular segment, anus, intestine, pharyngeal gill slits, heart and pharynx. So as we talk about the dorsal tubular nerve cord or notochord or the dorsal region, so now it will be very clear when you learn these points, because from the image, as I told, it becomes easier to understand. That is one advantage in biology. If you see the image and learn, it will be very easier to understand and remember as well. Okay, now we come to the comparative points. So with the diagram, now it becomes easier to understand. So first point, notochord present, absent in case of non-chordates, which you can see very clearly. Dorsal hollow single nerve cord. In case of non-chordates, it is ventral, solid and double. Third, pharyngeal gill slit which is present, whereas non-chordate gill slits are actually absent. Fourth, heart is ventral. In case of non-chordates, if it is present, then it is dorsal, which is the example which we consider or easiest known, cockroach. Then, in case of fifth point, post-anal tail is present, whereas in case of non-chordates, it is absent. Okay. Now we come to the points or characteristics or the salient features starting from the phylum Chordata. So here we can see Chordata. The chordates are characterized by presence of cartilaginous notochord, at least in the early embryonic life. So we can see all the species coming under chordata, they got notochord at some stage in the embryonic, means and the earlier as the life begins right from the embryonic stage. Then presence of gill slits in the pharyngeal region, gill slits which helps in the respiration part. Presence of hollow dorsal nerve cord running throughout the length of the body. Then ventral heart. So these four important points in case of chordate. I repeat over here in short to make it easier for you. Notochord or presence of notochord, presence of gill slit, presence of hollow dorsal nerve cord, and presence of ventral heart. So four main points we can say in case of chordate. And further, phylum Chordata is divided into three subphyla: Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata, as we saw in the chart earlier. Then Urochordata and Cephalochordata, they are collectively called as protochordates. Now all of you know chordates, right? The presence of notochord, etc. Now why the term protochordate? The term proto means first, the beginning of the chordates. So they are the first known species, that is Urochordata and Cephalochordata. That's why they are called as protochordata. Now again I have put some of the images of all these species in the chordates, right from Urochordata, Cephalochordata till the mammals. So you can see Ascidian, Salp or Salpa, Larvaceans, Lancelets, Hagfish, Lamprey, cartilaginous fish, ray-finned fish, low-finned fish, amphibian, reptile, birds and mammals. And also, like earlier videos, here I put few animation GIF of all these species, which makes the topic very interesting and to watch as well. Okay. Now we go to the chordate part one by one in little detail or brief. So we start with the subphylum Urochordata, which is also called as Tunicata. Okay, why Tunicata? Just will come when we start with the points. Examples: Herdmania, Salpa, Dolulum. Now all these three examples you can see. Like earlier videos, whatever examples are there, I put the images, so we will come to know what are these example, what are these species looking like, which will make you to understand the concept, understand the species, understand the phylum, subphylum or class very easily. Okay, now we go by point one by one. These are also called as tunicates or ascidians. So the other name for Urochordata, tunicates or ascidian. They are exclusively marine. Again, like non-chordates, most of the earlier known non-chordates, Porifera, Cnidarias or Coelenterata, all these are mostly marine. So here these species of Urochordata are also exclusively marine. Then body is soft and covered by test or tunic, which is made up of tunicin. That is why we can see the name other than Urochordate is also called as tunicates. Then that is, and again right side you can see image of a tunicate animation where the tunicate how it appears, and they are feeding on the small phytoplanktons present in the water body. Okay, and as I told, three other images of the examples: Herdmania, Salpa, Dolulum. All three can see how they are differing from each other. Okay, moving ahead with the next point, notochord is present only in the tail of larva, hence the name Urochordata. So here notochord is present, but only the tail part of it. Next, notochord is lost during metamorphosis. So when the metamorphosis stage, that is egg, larva, pupa, adult stage, so during that process, the notochord is lost. Pharynx has got many gill slits which are used for respiration. Closed circulatory system is present. Development is indirect. Okay. Now coming to the next subphylum, Cephalochordata. Again, see the images first. On the right side you can see Amphioxus which is moving, or we can see the respiration, the gill slits moving, right? And two images. One, you can see a image where the Amphioxus or lancelet which is under the soil partially buried. and you can also all the labeled parts are there: notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, midgut, caudal fin, anus, myotomes, atriopore, midgut, diverticulum, gill slit, pharynx, vestibule, buccal cirri. So this is how the amphioxus, which usually lies partially burrowed in the soil. And you can see the moving image as well as another species of lanceolate. Okay. Now, like the Urochordata, which is called as tunicates, here they are called as lancelets. Okay, why it is? Again, we will come to know as we are go through the characteristics. So, example: Branchiostoma, Amphioxus, or lancelet, which is the example or otherwise called as in case of Branchiostoma. First point: lancelets partly lived bury in the soft marine sediments, means as you can see in this image where it is partially buried. Notochord extends throughout the length of the body and present throughout the life. So here notochord is present throughout the body and it is present throughout the lifetime. Then myotomes, that is muscle blocks, are present. Post-anal tail is present, which you can see presence of caudal fin or caudal region. Closed circulatory system is present and even blood is present but without any pigment. Clear? Now we come to the subphylum Vertebrata. So here now move to from the earlier chordates to the vertebrates over here, which under subphylum Vertebrata we got Agnatostoma and Gnatostoma. So we'll take one by one. So the first point, in these chordates, notochord is replaced by cartilaginous or bony vertebral column. That is why we call the higher order species as Vertebrata, because presence of vertebral column instead of notochord. Then it is divided into two divisions: Agnatostomata, there is no jaws, and Gnatostomata, jaws are present. So we take the division Agnatostomata, that is without jaw. These division includes the lowest or most primitive vertebrates which are without jaws. They include only one class of living vertebrates. So one known class, which is Cyclostomata. So class Cyclostomata, cyclo means circular, stoma means mouth. So these species has got circular mouth. Again you can see two examples given. One is Petromyzon, that is lamprey, and next is Myxine or hagfish. So both we can see the actual image of these species in the next slide, how it looks, how it appears, etc. Now taking the point one by one, cyclostomes are jawless and eel-like animals, as the name Cyclostomata. Next, skin is soft, smooth, containing unicellular mucous glands but no scales. That means there is no scales on the body like a snake or even fishes. There is usually smooth. Then median fins are present but paired fins are absent. So the fins are usually single, we can say. There are no paired fins present. They are ectoparasite, means they are parasite on other species, mainly fishes which are present in the water bodies. They got sucking and circular mouth without jaws. So we can see they don't have jaws but they got sucking mouth part which helps to suck the body fluid of the other animals present in the water bodies. Cranium and vertebral column made up of cartilage. Digestive system lacks stomach. Respiration occurs through 6 to 15 pair of gill slits. So gill slits are without operculum. Now what is this operculum? These are the covering over the gill slits. Now if you commonly observe the fishes, we have, it has got an operculum covering over the gill slits, which is absent in case of these Cyclostomata. Or when you see the image, you can understand by seeing the gill slit, there is no operculum or covering. Next, heart is two chambered with one auricle and one ventricle. Then gonad is single, large and without gonoduct. Fertilization external. They are anadromous. What does that mean? Migrate for spawning to fresh water from the marine habitat. That means marine water or salt water where they usually don't lay their eggs. They come to the fresh water for spawning or for laying eggs. That's why they are called as anadromous. Then after spawning, they die within few days. Larva metamorphose and then migrate to the ocean. So as the larva starts to grow, they migrate to the ocean. Okay. These are all adult jawless fish. So you can see the images, how they're looking, the appearance. There is images as well as animation part of it. So you can see how in the first image we can see different part of the species from different angles, and then lower part you can say Petromyzonid or lamprey, how actually it looks jawless, 7 gill apertures, no pad fins, pectoral pelvic, cartilaginous skeleton. And you can see hagfish, how it looks, as well as lamprey. It is attached onto the glass, so you can see how the mouth is actually, there are no jaws as such, but you can see how it is. It has got a sucking aperture by which it sucks the body fluid. Okay. Now, coming to the second division, gnathostomata. Gnatha means presence of jaw, stomata mouth. So, jaws present in the mouth region. So, it is divided into two superclass, Pisces and Tetrapoda. The Pisces which bear fins, whereas Tetrapoda, the term tetra means four, poda foot. So, they got four limbs or two pair of limbs. So, that's why the term Tetrapoda, four limbs are present. So first superclass Pisces. So we have the general characteristics or salient features of Pisces. These are aquatic animals. As we know, Pisces, they are usually found in water bodies. These are poikilotherms. Now what is this poikilotherm? Body temperature changes according to the change in the surrounding temperature. Then lateral line system is present, which shows presence of rheoreceptors for detection of water current. Locomotion is by body muscles and fins. Caudal fin acts as steering wheel. Exoskeleton is of dermal scale. So here the dermal scales are present, which was absent in case of the Petromyzon. Endoskeleton is either bony or cartilaginous. So here some species are cartilaginous, some bony. Body streamlined and boat shaped. This feature offers minimum resistance during swimming. Respiration by gills. As we know, all the Pisces or aquatic species mostly respire by gills. Heart is two-chambered, which is again one auricle and one ventricle, as it is ventral in position. It shows single and closed circulation. Heart always shows presence of deoxygenated blood, so it is described as venous heart. They have well-developed brain with large olfactory lobes. Sexes are separate, as male and female are separate. Most fishes are oviparous and some are viviparous. So that means most of the species are egg-laying one, but some species are the giving birth to young ones. Okay. Now we come to the super class, which is divided into two classes, like that is class Chondrichthyes. Chondro means cartilage, ichthys means fish, that is cartilaginous fish. Again we can see quite a few examples such as Coliodon, which is otherwise dogfish, or simple words shark. Pristis, sawfish, saw-like edges, electric ray, common skate, hammer-headed shark, Carcharodon, that is great white shark, Trigon, stingray. So all these example or names which I taken, we can see all the animation images of this in the next few slides. Okay, so we go to the individual points or characteristics of it. Chondrichthyes includes the animals in which endoskeleton is cartilaginous. They are exclusively marine species. That means they are found in salt water. Exoskeleton is formed of placoid scales, means the scales are present which is small in comparison. They are teeth are modified placoid scales which are backward directed. Mouth is ventral in position. There is a single dorsal fin and two pairs of lateral fins, as we can see pectoral and pelvic. So you can see the image where we can see right from head, eye, dorsal fin, caudal fin or tail fin, then followed by pectoral fin, gill slits and mouth. Further, caudal fin is heterocercal or asymmetrical. Now when you say hetero means different. Cercal means the tail. So the tail is asymmetrical. So you can see here tail is single and long. Now if you have comparison with the Ostrictus, it will be symmetrical, homocercal, as we learn it further ahead. Next, 5 to 7 pairs of gill slits are present. They do not cover by operculum. So again here, if you see clearly in the image, gill slits we can see which is labeled, but there is no covering over it. That is, operculum is absent. Air bladder is absent. Hence these fishes need to swim constantly so that they do not sink. That is why if you see, fishes don't stand at one particular place. They keep on swimming continuously. Otherwise they will be not stable, or they, as you can see, they may sink. So they keep on moving so in order to maintain their balance. They are predatory fishes, means they are usually predators. So as we can see in case of shark, etc. Some of them have electric organs. Example, torpedo, which is electric ray. So they may emit certain electric current from the electric organ which is present, which can be fatal as well. And some have poisonous sting. Example, trigon is stingray, as organs of offense or even defense. Male copulatory organs called claspers are present. Fertilization is internal. Many of them are viviparous, means they give birth to young ones. So moving on to the next slide, where you can see the images. As I told, all the examples I put the animation image so as to understand how it looks, how it moves, how it appears. So it is really helpful for you. So first you can see scoliodon, that is dogfish or shark, and when it moves you can see the gills. So there is no gill slits. Electric ray, which have electric organ. Common skate and sawfish. You can see how the beak like part is there, but it is appears like a saw with the serrated edges. That's why, because of the appearance, it is called as sawfish. Okay. Now we can see few more example which was there, those images, like hammer-headed shark. So hammer like head, hence the name given as hammer-headed shark. And then towards the right, trigon or stingray. Now here the image I kept of a baby stingray. Okay. Then you have Carcharodon, that is a great white shark. Actually it appears grayish instead of completely white. Okay. Now we come to the second class, that is Ostrictus, or that is osteo means bone, ictus fish, so bony fish. So again here we have got quite a few examples which you can see: Bombay duck, lungfish, that is Protopterus or Lepidosiren, Exocetus, that is flying fish, Hippocampus, seahorse, pomfret, Labiorhoita, rohu, Katla or Clarius, that is magur. Aquarium fishes, which you can see the image in this particular slide itself. Betta, that is fighting fish. So again you can see very beautiful image of this fighting fish in the next slides. All these examples, again you can see animation, beautiful images of these examples. Then one more example is there, Pterophyllum, which is angelfish. Okay. Now in the previous video, in the very first image I kept an angel, but it was not an angel fish. That's why I didn't mention fish. It is an angel species which comes under Hemichordata. Okay, so here we can see angel fish because of the spread out fins. Now we take the point one by one. Ostrictus include fish in which bony endoskeleton is present, hence it is called as bony fish. These are aquatic, present in both fresh and marine water. So when you talk about bony fish, mostly they are found in fresh water, but there are some species found in marine water as well. Exoskeleton is formed of cycloid and ctenoid scale. Now in the previous one, Chondrichthyes, we learned about the placoid scale, which is smaller, whereas here the cycloid scales are little larger. As you can see the image of Ostrichthyes, operculum, dorsal fin, caudal fin, anal fin, lateral line, pelvic fin, pectoral fin, and you can see the scales on the body very clearly. Okay, next, mouth is mostly terminal in position. Terminal, you can see towards the central part of the fish in the anterior end. Then they show two dorsal fin, as you can observe highlighted with the marker in the image. Tail fin is formed by two equal lobes, that is homocercal, symmetrical. As again with comparison to the previous one, shark, it has got single long tail, but here we can see V-shaped caudal fin, or it is homocercal. Then four pairs of gill slits are present, covered with operculum. Air bladder is present to maintain buoyancy. Claspers are absent, that is claspers are present in the cartilaginous fishes or shark. Fertilization external, these are oviparous, means most of them lay eggs. So now you can see the images, beautiful images of all the examples just which I read out or which is given in the textbook. So Bombay duck, pomfret, which is just still image, but you can see the seahorse, how beautiful it is giving birth to the young ones, right? So as I told, most of them are oviparous, but there are certain fishes which give birth to the young one. One is the hippocampus or the seahorse, and then you can see flying fish. How it has got exactly wings like a bird, and how it travels above the water body very clearly, how beautifully it appears, and then just above the lungfish. Okay, so again very beautiful images of the different species in Ostrichthyes. Now few more species, as I told, there are many examples given in the textbook. So rohu, katla, clarias, that is magur, then betta, fighting fish. See how beautiful it appears, but the name is fighting fish because just for general information, these fishes don't allow anybody to stay with them, so they immediately attack even the species of their same family, so they don't allow them, so they has to be kept separately. Okay, that's why the name given as fighting fish or betta. Then you can see the lower part of the image, pterophyllum or the angelfish. Again, angelfish, there are different varieties, silver or black, or here you can see black and silver combined. Okay, now moving on to the second superclass, second part, that is tetrapoda. Tetra, four appendages of two pairs of limbs. So these animals bear two pairs of appendages. Some animals like snakes are secondary limbless. So snakes, they don't have any limbs as such. But in just to add a additional information over here, snakes, if you cut open or dissect open, you can see small limbs present on the anterior end, which we call as a vestigial organ. Now we can say that in the older times, as they are burrowing, these limbs which are present, they become vestigial. So otherwise, if you see all other reptiles, they have got limbs, whether it is crocodile or whether it is tortoise, turtle, lizards, but only snakes does not have. So we can say, as they are more fossorial, present under the soil, the limbs, they become vestigial. Okay, then superclass tetrapoda includes four class, namely amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammals. Again you can see here the images and little bit more additional information as always provide, like diapsida, synapsida, anapsida, Diatectomorpha. There is no image over here because they did not get exact fossil of it. Amphibia, Then stem tetrapods, again they don't have exact image of this particular species. Otherwise, as you see, Anapsida, it is tortoise, Synapsida, cheetah, Diapsida, they shown a reptile image, again it is a fossil part. But in case of two of these, they have not got any specific image as such or the fossil. Then if you see, I put another image showing the origin, connecting link, how it forms. So one, if you see from the lower part, it becomes easier for you. Mammals, again there are different marsupial, placentals, monotremes. For the reptiles, in reptiles, turtles, tuatara, lizards and snakes, crocodilians, birds, which again are amniota. Then further amphibians, caecilian, salamander, frog, which comes under tetrapoda. And then lobed fishes, then agnathans, that is hagfish, lamprey, cartilaginous fish, ray fin fishes, and in lobe, coelacanth, lungfish, etc. So that is how the origin and evolution took place from hagfish till the placentas, that is mammals. Okay. Now we come to the second vertebrate of first class in tetrapoda, that is amphibia. Amphib means both, bias means life. Amphibia means present both in land and water. Again here you can see quite a few examples. Rana, that is commonly called as frog, buffo, toad, salamander or salamandra, Ichthyoptis, limbless amphibian which appears like a earthworm, Hyla, tree frog. So these are some of the examples. So we go to the characteristics. Amphibia include the animals which live on land as well as water, that is fresh water only. They are poikilotherms animals. So if you have seen the characteristic of Pisces, even they are poikilotherms. Body differentiated into head and trunk. Neck and tail is usually absent in many adults with few exceptions. Like you can see tail in case of salamander or newt. Okay, that is axolotl larvae you can say, which later on there's very good image in the later part of the video. Then two pairs of limbs arise from pectoral and pelvic girdle respectively. They help in locomotion, that is movement. Skin is moist, glandular with mucous gland. Exoskeleton is absent. Eyelids are present. Tympanum represents the ear. So there is no external ear but internal ear or tympanum. Excretory products, digestive waste and gametes are released through common chamber called cloaca. Circulatory system is closed type. Heart is three-chambered and ventral in position. RBCs are biconvex and nucleated. Respiration is by skin, lungs and buccopharynx. Why three organ? Skin, whenever the frog or other species amphibia, they are on the surface of the water. Lungs when they are on the land. Buccopharynx when they are in the water bodies. Okay, so that's why three different organs are present accordingly, or they can respire by skin, lungs as well as by buccopharynx. Nervous system is well developed, sexes are separate, they are oviparous, egg laying ones. Fertilization is external, development is indirect through aquatic larval stage. So here we can see the larval stage, that is metamorphic stage. So they show metamorphosis, egg, larva, tadpole and then the adult stage. Okay. So you can see the image over here, types of amphibian, where you can see frog, you can see Sicilian, or as we read Ichthyoptis, which looks similar, toad, salamander and newt. So all this again, the images we can see in the next slide, the animation part. So you can see here very clearly the beautiful images of amphibians. Yellow tree frog. Now in the earlier one of the videos we saw similar tree frog, yellow colored one, and lower you can see toad or buffo. Now what is the difference in frog and a toad? Very simple. If you observe carefully both the images, in frog the body surface is most, you can see, smooth and moist, where in case of toad it looks rough, presence of wats on the body, WRTS, wats on the body, which makes it comparatively rough. Or we can say frogs are present more in the water body, less on the land, whereas toads more on the land, less in the water body. Okay, then we can see Hyla, the tree frog, salamander, which is with the tail or looks like a reptile but or a lizard, but it is actually a amphibian. Reason, all the characteristic of amphibian present in it. And if another important thing is, if you observe the body, it is smooth and moist, but in case of lizards it is rough and the scales may be present on the body. So that is one of the difference in a reptile and an amphibian. Okay, then Ichthyopsis, which you observe carefully, it looks like a earthworm with a segmented body and presence of rings on it. But if you see head, it has prominent head, eyes, etc. And you can see it has laid quite a few eggs and protecting around it. Okay. Now, coming to the next one, third vertebrate or second class of tetrapoda, that is class Reptilia. Repair means to creep or crawl. So all these species under Reptilia, they are actually creeping or they crawl. Again, here we have quite a few examples given in the textbook, which is Naja Naja, that is cobra, Hemidactylus, wall lizard, Chelonia, turtle, Crocodilus, crocodile, Testuda, tortoise, chameleon, tree lizard, Bangurus, krait, and vipera, viper. So we go with the individual characteristics. Reptilia includes crawling animals. These are the first true terrestrial vertebrates. Few may be aquatic or semi-aquatic, also found in marshy areas. As you can see, crocodile, can see turtles, etc. Locomotion occurs by limbs. The limbs are pentadactyl and digits bear claws. Limbs help the animal to walk or creep. Snakes are limbless. Snakes crawl on their belly. As you might have seen the snakes, they don't have the limb. Reptiles are poikilotherms. So now in comparison, the amphibia, Pisces and Reptilia, all three come under or all three are poikilotherms. Skin is dry, non-glandular and covered by exoskeleton of epidermal scales or scutes, shields or plates. Okay. Lizards and snakes shed their skin periodically. Tympanum is present, that is internal ear. Heart has two complete auricles, but ventricles are incomplete portion. So heart is not perfectly four chambered, except crocodile. So we can say they have 3.5 chamber or partially four chambered, because the fourth chamber is incomplete. Then brain is well developed. The olfactory lobes and cerebellum are better developed than those of amphibians. Sexes are separate and show prominent sexual dimorphism. Fertilization is internal. They're oviparous, that is the egg laying one, except viper, which is viviparous, give birth to the young one and show parental care. Now again, you can see beautiful image of different species. Naja Naja cobra, we can see it is spitting the venom. You can see very clearly how it is spitting the venom. Chameleon, see clearly how the color is changing from green to blue. Slowly can see the change in the color. Accordingly, can see the different coloration. Then turtle, krait, that is Bangurus, wall lizard, Hemidactylus, crocodile, viper, and then tortoise. So you can see one of the largest seen tortoise. Okay. Now coming to the fourth vertebrate, there is class Aves. Aves means birds. So again example, columba, that is pigeon, psittacula, parrot, flightless birds like Struthio, that is ostrich, kiwi, apentodites, that is penguin, carvus, crow, neopron, vulture, passer, the common house sparrow. Forelimbs are modified into wings for flying. Some birds have lost the capacity to fly, that is ostrich. Hind limbs are used for walking, clasping trees, that is holding on to the branches, and running. So if you just see ostrich, kiwi, penguin, these birds are comparatively larger, heavier, and the wings are smaller. Can say so was one of the reason it can't fly with the heavy body like ostrich or penguin. Okay, next, aquatic birds have webs between their toes, that is ducks. Body is streamlined, that is boat shape, to reduce resistance during flight. These are homeotherms. Now see, again repeating, Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, they are poikilotherms, whereas apes and further mammals, they are homeotherms. That is, their body temperature remains constant, exoskeleton is made up of feathers, scales are present on hind limbs, body is differentiated into head, neck, trunk and tail. Skin is thin, dry, non-glandular except oil gland at the base of the tail, it is uropygial gland. Bones are hollow, pneumatic with air cavities to reduce the body weight or which helps to fly. Otherwise, if the bones are hard and thick, it will be very difficult to fly with the heavy body. Jaws are without teeth and modified into beak. Crop and gizzard are present in the digestive system. Blood is red in color due to presence of red blood cells. RBCs are biconvex and nucleated. There is presence of nucleus in it. Heart is perfectly four-chambered. They show double circulation, which is the same point or similar point related to mammalia. Respiration takes place by lungs, having air sacs to increase buoyancy. Brain is enlarged and has well-developed cerebellum for equilibrium. Sexes are separate with prominent sexual dimorphism. These are oviparous, that is egg laying. Few more points to add. Fertilization is internal. Parental care is very well developed. Seasonal migration is seen in some birds, that is they migrate to different places at certain season. Like winter season, we can see migratory birds like Sarus cranes, which we can see coming to Bharatpur sanctuary or other sanctuaries from different countries. Okay, then special features. The urinary bladder is absent. The female shows presence of only one left ovary, left oviduct. This helps to reduce the body weight. Now you can see the images. Left parrot, but even parrot you have seen many different species. Now you can start with the smaller one, the lovebirds, slightly bigger, the parrot usually green in color, or the parrot with a longer tail, that is parakeet, and then colorful parrots as you can see in the images, that is macaw. Okay, then ostrich, as you can see running with a huge body, as the wings are very small, so they usually run with the longer limbs. Sparrow, otherwise passer, even sparrow, if you observe carefully, there are different types or different species, because if you generally observe it, the fin color almost looks similar, but if you carefully observe, there are different species in sparrow. Pigeon, crow. Now here we can see white crow as well as black crow. Now the crows are actually black only, but here you can see white crow, or we can use a proper term as albino crow. Okay, then you can see vulture, neoprawn, kiwi, and then penguin, that is epternodites. Okay, now coming to the last vertebrate, that is class Mammalia. Mammae means breast, the nipples. Example, bat, ratus or rat, macaque, monkey, camellia, camel, whale, human being, canis, dog, felis, cat, elephas, elephant, equus, horse, pteropus, flying fox. So again we can see all the examples later. So oviparous, ornithorhynchus, that is platypus, viviparous, macropus, kangaroo. So here some of the one of the example, there is exception, platypus, which is oviparous. All others are viviparous. Now, Mammalia includes the animals having mammary glands, that is milk producing glands for the nourishment of the young ones, as the one of the important features in case of Mammalia. These are omnipresent, mostly terrestrial, some are aquatic and few are aerial and arboreal. Means some species are aerial as we can see, flying on bats or arboreal found on the trees like monkeys, squirrels, etc. Limbs are the organs of locomotion and used for walking, flying, climbing, burrowing, swimming, etc. Body is differentiated into head, neck, trunk and tail. These are homeotherms. Exoskeleton is in the form of hair, fur, nails, hoofs, horns, etc. Skin is glandular, having sweat glands and sebaceous gland, that is oil glands. Mammary glands are the modified sweat glands. They have got external ear, that is pinna. They show heterodont dentition. RBCs are biconcave and enucleated. Blood is red in color. Heart is ventral in position and four-chambered. There's two auricles and two ventricles, similar to aves. Respiration takes place by lungs. Brain is highly developed. Next, few more points. Cerebrum shows a transverse band called as corpus callosum, which is another unique feature in case of mammals. Few mammals are oviparous, as we just read in the beginning, duckbill platypus. Somehow pouches for development of immature young ones. These are called as marsupials. Example, kangaroo, which you can see in the image seen. Majority of mammals are placental, that is presence of placenta, which helps in the nourishing of the young ones, and viviparous, that is giving birth to the young ones. So you can see a marsupial kangaroo carrying the baby in the pouch, and the other one duckbill platypus having beak like a duck, hence the name given as duckbill platypus, but it's a mammal and also an egg laying one. Okay, now the remaining species images, like bat, we can see how it moves during night by producing the ultrasonic waves. Then whale, squirrel monkey, see how the appearance of the face are different from the normal monkey. Then equus, that is horse. Bacterian camel, now here I have kept a bacterian camel instead of the normal one hump camel which is usually seen. Now these bacterian camel, they got two hump and shorter or smaller in size than the usual camel. Okay, then African elephants. Now I just give this chart where you can see all characteristic of phylum Porifera till Hemichordata and also Chordata. All the chordates have got similar features, but in case of other invertebrates, the different features are there. So this table will help you to learn the characteristics again in one page and learn it with easy, the comparative study as well as the difference of it. Okay. Now, the unique and amazing species. So you can see first one, lemur. See how the eyes are widening out. Now these are actually nocturnal. So in case of nocturnal species, the vision is usually less as light is less or dim. So they usually widen their eyes. That is they enlarge their eyebrows. You can see how it appears. Then elephant shrew, like trunk like an elephant, that's why the name elephant shrew, which is actually a rodent. Sea cow, see very huge species present in the water body, otherwise called as dugong. Trumpet fish, see how it appears like a thin stick, but actually it is a long thin fish because the appearance is called as a trumpet fish. Then Sicilian species, which is again as I told appear like a earthworm with the rings but having a mouth and a proper eyes. Few more species to add. Newt, which is actually salamander. So you can see black and white newt. Alligator, very huge. You can see what the difference in alligator and a crocodile. Then seal and koala bear. Okay. So these are some of the other species which I added in the unique and amazing ones, other than the species, the example which is given in the textbook. So lastly, the assignment question based on this particular part of the video. So thank you all of you.